So as you know, I haven't done these videos in a very long time. And today was my first day back in church. And by the way, no, I didn't just quit going to church because I didn't want to go to church. Long story short, I got kicked out of church. And I can completely understand why people can be thrown off and not want to go to church. I get it. I completely get it. Trust me. I had found a place that I really liked, that my cousin was a pastor at, and you'll just have to read it in my book one day because, it's a long story and it's crazy. So I found a church that I really, really liked, and I brought 2 people from my previous church with me. I learned some really good things today. So after all that fiasco happened last year, I decided that on Sundays, instead of going to church, I was just going to read the Bible on my own and also listen to sermons. And I listened to sermons throughout the week to keep me motivated. But this church, I absolutely loved it. It's not too far from my house. The music was really good. The people were super nice. The sermon was really good. It was very, very long, which I'm not complaining about because I got a lot out of it. But yeah, I learned some really, really great things today. And what's even more crazy is that the lady that came with me, her favorite scripture was what they opened with in a song and the sermon. So I don't even think that that was by chance. Literally, it was for her and of course for whoever else that was receiving it. So I am very excited to be back. Sound like I'm talking about on YouTube. Back in church, back on YouTube, whatever it is. So I wanted to share a couple things that I learned today. And it was a good example. You know how like some things in your life are meant for temporary, but people think that it's permanent, whether it be a relationship, a job. One thing may be good for a while, or maybe you're doing something that you don't like, that you need to be in longer, and you decide for whatever personal reasons you're going to leave before you know you should be leaving. And he mentions how he's a really good analogy. Oh, it was so good. I took like 5 pages of notes. I can't even share it all with you today. But he mentioned how when you try to make things temporary, which is like the life here on earth, you're trying to make it permanent, it turns into disaster. And how we're all spiritual beings, and the goal in life, the whole purpose in life, which I kind of came to this realization last year, is that you're trying to get into the kingdom of heaven, right? So you do good on earth, you help others, you lead others there, because the people that are actually your family, which are like blood relatives and stuff, aren't like necessarily your family when it comes to like spiritual world. They say like God is our father, which all his heirs, children, I don't know if I'm confusing y'all. Hold on. So if you're a child of God, then you're technically brothers and sisters with others, no matter their age, no matter their race. It doesn't matter who, what, where, when, that is considered your brother or your sister, right? When you have the same father, which is the Father in heaven. So he said, you know what people do? They try to take something that's temporary and they try to force it to make it right. And he said the perfect example, he saw this car that flipped off the highway and it flipped over like 3 times. And the issue was that this person had a flat tire. They put a donut on their car. And yes, the donut is there for emergency reasons. It's also there to get you like a 50-mile run, maybe to the gas station, home, to the tire shop, okay? It's not made to be driving on. So for somebody to be thinking that they're gonna drive on it for a full week back and forth to work on the interstate, like you're pushing your luck. You're making something that was temporary permanent, which is what caused the disaster. Now your car's on the side of the road and it flipped over because you got stuck in something for so long. And he was talking about how you can be stuck in relationships and different situations longer than you should be, and knowing things are just temporary. Because even with a relationship, people will say, well, I've been in it for 5 years. I don't want to just let it go to waste. Okay, well, do you want to be in it for another 5 years? Maybe it was there for him to teach you something, her to teach you something, vice versa. Certain people are for seasons. Not everybody is marriage or a friend for life. People come in seasons. So it's okay to let certain things go, and you're supposed to let certain things go. And then another really good thing he said, which was, it was really good, how people think with their heart over their head. And it's crazy because it can go like both ways and kind of seem confusing, but let me try to put this in perspective for you. So there's been scientific studies where there's actually more receptacles in your heart than in your brain. And people think that, oh yeah, we make decisions with our brain. And we do when it comes to what you want to do, what you want to eat, bad choices, this, that, and whatever. But then when it comes to your heart, which is your intuition, it says God gives you from within. So you know how like your intuition can say, don't go there, don't be around this person, don't date this person, don't this and that. And then your brain chooses to do it anyways. And then comes to find out in hindsight that you should have listened to your intuition. It was warning you not to do something. So your heart is basically letting you feel and know what you should be doing. And then he mentions too how in the Bible, Jesus always talks about how he felt. It's never about what he thought in his brain. It was always about feelings and heart and love. So your heart and not your brain. So the reason this can get kind of tricky too, because it's like in life, you don't want to just react off emotions to where you're an emotional being and you're not thinking logic. Because think about this. This was a good example. He said that, you know, that person that you're in love with, and it doesn't matter rain, snow, it doesn't matter if you have to work tomorrow, it don't matter if you're tired, they ask you to come over late at night. You can't wait to get in your car and go because your heart is like overriding what your brain's saying. Like, no, you got to get up early. No, it's probably not safe to drive, but you make it 100% goal, you gonna get there, right? And then he said, oh, it was so good. What did he say? I want to use the exact example. He was basically saying that you should have the same hunger in your heart for God, which creates you to be whole, versus just another man. And he goes, because think about it, like how people say, yeah, I'm a Christian, and they confess that they're a Christian in the eyes of people, but he's like, you're not fooling God, because he is a discerner of the heart, not what you say and make believe at church and you're a Christian and you're this and this, whatever else, right? And he said, because think about it, if a guy is sitting there and saying like, oh, I love you, boo, but he ain't coming to, that's exactly what he said, I ain't just making it up. He said, if he ain't coming to see you, if he ain't providing for you, doing anything for you, then him just saying, I love you, boo, it has no meaning to it. So the same thing with saying, I'm a Christian. You can't just be like, I'm a Christian, but then just do whatever and not have your actions and show like the love of God. So that was really good too. It was just such really, really good stuff. And yeah, I don't know what else to say right now, but I'm going to start sharing more. My two new favorite pastors, I don't know if you knew this before, but Joyce Meyer and Joel Osteen were my two favorite. And I have came across two new ones, which are more, talk about more modern day, that are a little bit different. And it's PMJ, which is Pastor Mike Jr., Mike McClure in Alabama, Rock City. And then there is Pastor Mike Todd. So it can be confusing because they're both Michaels. And Mike Todd is in Oklahoma. I can't remember the name of his church. But anyways, those are really, really good pastors. So anytime I feel like my brain is thinking negative thoughts and doing this, and you know, everybody wants me to encourage them, and I just feel like I need to be replenished, but there's nobody to replenish me, I will tell myself like, no, don't have these thoughts. And then I will look up PMJ, Pastor Mike McClure Jr., or Michael Todd. And yeah, they be having a really good word. So if you're ever feeling down, a good thing to do, which is what I used to do with Joyce and Joel, which I still go back to sometimes, is I pray for an answer. I look them up. I go to YouTube. And then when I see a headline that really sticks out to me, a lot of times when I pick that sermon, I get my answer to what I was praying about or thinking about at the time. And then if I listen to like a few minutes and I'm not really getting anything from it, I'll see like what's tagged to it, and I'll go to the next one. Oh, this one stands out. And it will always lead me to my answer, I'm telling you. Usually on the first try, I get the answer, but sometimes I'll listen to like, I'll skip to like 2 to 3 videos tops, and I always get my answer. So the more you ask, you shall receive. No, for real. If you don't ask, you don't get the answer. So know what you want, ask it, and then pay attention and listen. So I hope this could help you. And if you want more of these videos, which I plan on doing, like this message, share it, leave a comment. And yeah, I will see you guys later.